and this is Design Sips. Welcome. Cheers to you. Okay, so welcome everybody. How you doing? Hi. Again, this is Sandra, House of Funk. We are doing Design Sips, which means we need wine in order to talk the business of design today. So we have a Maomi Chardonnay, and I just had a little cheers with y'all. Cheers me if you are drinking. Give me a wave if you are having a cocktail with me. Let me know if you're not drinking wine, what are you drinking? I know it's early in the day. Design Sips just keeps creeping. But wherever you are, right? All right, I like it. Having a cocktail. Cheers, people. All right, so we are going to be talking on. You know the deal. I can't say cheers and then not have a sip. It's like a thing. So we are going to be talking about how to get strategic with your content. So we've been talking in our Facebook group. We've been talking all about social media content, blog content, newsletter content, all about, we know we need to reach out to our people, our audience. We know we need to connect, but we don't necessarily know what we're supposed to be talking about. So it is really important to go strategic with this. Get a plan, get it in place. And of course, what we love most is to batch that content production. So we're going to review our favorite strategies, and definitely don't let these ideas overwhelm you. You want to grab onto the idea that you feel like resonates with you, and that's the one thing that you should work on this week. Let everything else go. Let it wash over you. You can always, of course, circle back to Design Sips episodes. They all exist somewhere in YouTube. Okay, so good to see everybody. Hi, guys. All right. So as creatives, curating content should be fun, right? The ideal content creation, in my opinion, is to use your designer's eye, right? Use this eye of yours that you either have naturally or have cultivated over the years of doing design work. You've looked at gabillions of product and tons of pattern and beautiful things. And when you're out there in the world interacting with fabric samples, social media scroll, a showroom, if God willing, you're out and about where you are, take a moment, snap a photo, grab a screen grab, hit share, whatever that looks like, make a little flat lay, and share what your eye has captured as interesting, unique, special, on brand for you, of your aesthetic, whatever it is. This is the number one thing to do, right? Share that vision that you have when you see something beautiful. I did it earlier this week. There was a really cool, rustic, concrete tile that I just thought was screaming to become an outdoor shower. It would just feel islandy, immersive, natural, it was all this feeling. It was definitely a vibe. So I shared it to my story. I obviously credited the person who made that gorgeous tile, and I mentioned how I would use it and why I grabbed it. That's it. Simple, but it's bringing your style to your audience and sharing with them your aesthetic. So don't overanalyze it, just be authentic, right? I'm not scrolling through or searching my library or going out in the world and looking for content. I am naturally coming across things that inspire me. And what I am proactively doing is I am very proactive at saying I should capture and share this, because if it turned me on or made me happy or gave me an idea of how to use something for a project, it might be something of value to someone else as well. So this authenticity, this natural, I see something I love and I want to share it, will also attract your ideal client to you, because you are sharing an aesthetic that is unique to you, that is your authentic aesthetic. It's the things that you naturally gravitate to. So then it is going to catch the attention and the eye of a client who shares your aesthetic, right? So again, ideal client magnetism is really what we're trying to create in our content, in our social media, in all the things that we do. We are trying to catch the attention of our ideal client. be that a price point level or an aesthetic or a vibe, or like I'm looking for people that are super laid back, or I'm looking for super type A's. Like you're all of that in how you talk about things is drawing them to you and magnetizing them. So we're going to start with one social media platform and one monthly newsletter. And these are really great benchmarks to start with. So you don't have, just because you're going to try to get out in the world with social media more, doesn't mean you join 3 different things. Or if you already have joined, you probably, you can even scale it back. You can put some simple curated content and kind of leave it alone, but really focus on one at a time, get good at that, and don't try to do all those things at once. I would start with the social media platform that you are already familiar with, if there are any that you already know. So stay in your lane, right? If you know and feel comfortable on one platform, that's where you should begin. And you definitely do not need to post every single day. You can set up your own rhythm. There is something to be said for consistency. So I would say give yourself tons of leeway. Start with once a month, once a week, whatever it is, and give yourself permission to make that your bare minimum, and then show up more as you stumble upon something that inspires you, right? Okay, so let's take a moment. Cheers to not getting overwhelmed by the content. All right, give me a heart if you're having a cocktail. Drinks with me, cheers. Hearts, people, I need to see that you're out there. Okay, reminder to comment all your questions in the chat. So I love this. We are here live curating these questions. So please feel free to share them. We will get them up on the screen. Sarah Harris has created some magic of 400 screens in front of me that allows me to do this with you, because she's with me over here. And it lets us take real-time questions. So what I always say is, you've got me captive. I'm drinking wine. I put my lipstick on. You may as well throw some questions my way. Let's get it done, right? Okay, so let's dive into some questions. Yay, thank you guys. All right, so number 1, do you follow a framework when brainstorming your content strategy? I feel like I'm always recreating the wheel. Okay, so you know how I feel about the blank page. I really don't like it. So yes, we determine a monthly theme at the end of every year for the coming year, right? And that way we are in a strategic mindset about what we're going to do. So the themes are used in our newsletters and our social media copies, so that we're speaking about the same thing in all the places. So again, our potential clients, our ideal client, is hearing a strong message across all of our content for an entire month. Also, it is so clear to us where we need to go with that content when we have a theme. When you just come at the blank page and you have to just like, what should I post today? I would be totally overwhelmed as well. So having those themes creates structure. Also, whenever possible, we use the same themes over and over and over again every year, not every month, right? So every year we have a theme. We do bedrooms at Valentine's Day, right? We're talking about doing our romantic oasis, our private spaces. This romance and February seem to go hand in hand. We have all that Valentine's Day content out in the world. So that is one of those that we're just never going to mess with. We're never going to be like, February should all of a sudden be about bathrooms, because it shouldn't. So there are some of those things that go naturally, right? Holiday decorating, there's a lot of like spring cleaning, freshening up. There's a lot of themes that if you start to think about it, there's a natural seasonal flow of focus throughout a home in the calendar. Now, of course, there's some things that just don't have a specific spot. So you pick a month and you pick a theme and you slot them together and you work with it. We also are always rinsing and repeating on the content we've already created. So a couple of years ago, I came up with the probably really annoying task of going out and gathering all of our December newsletters into one Asana. You guys know I'm Asana obsessed. Into one Asana, so that I could pull the best content and anecdotes and the best little moments from years of content that was written around the same time of year, usually around the same theme, all in one place to reference. Okay. I'm always going to write a new newsletter. It's always going to get updated. It's always going to get fresh content. It's always going to get a spit shine, new photos. We definitely put a lot of effort into putting video in our newsletters because we knew it got more clicks. So we're going to up the ante on that content every year, but we're not going to start with a blank sheet of paper because we've been here before. So whenever we've done it before, we're going to make sure that we don't start at zero again. Now, what I did when we did that every November newsletter we've ever written, every December, every January, right? What I saw is that in some of those months that it wasn't so clear and obvious which theme fit where, I would just go ahead and grab that content and move it. So for instance, if bathrooms ended up with March, I would take the random bits and bobs of content that I'd written about bathrooms in the past and just put all of that now in the March category. And I don't know if bathrooms are March, I can't remember, and now I have all of that content in one place for us to start to pull from and curate from. See, you've written a lot of content in your years in business. I know you have, from social media to newsletters to, PR pitches, all of that content. If you can get it into a space and you can start to sort it by theme or by month or however you're going to slice this, you will see that you're not going to be looking at a blank sheet of paper wondering what in the heck you should talk about. So cheers to that. Hello, my people. Okay, more questions. Are you guys ready? So how did you go about creating content in the early stages of your career? How has it changed compared to now? So way back in the beginning, I started my business in 2005 and I started blogging in 2007. So pretty soon after, I started realizing that I needed to create a funnel. I needed to create a pipeline of clients coming my way. I needed a way to stay in touch with those people who reached out but weren't ready to hire me yet. So at the time, blogging was the thing. So I tried it. It was horrible in the beginning. I mean, train wreck horrible. Bad pictures. This is before Amber Lewis made crappy iPhone pics like a fabulous thing. No, just bad images, rambling content, all the things. So, but at the time, blogging at all tied to your website, right, was hugely effective at getting your website like higher up in the Google metrics. I don't know, whatever you call that. Anyway, it gave me more eyeballs on my website, and it almost didn't matter back then what you wrote. It was just important that your website was being updated repeatedly. That showed that I was an active business. I was an active internet user. And that at the time in 2007 was enough to get more eyeballs to my website when somebody was searching for interior designer near me or what have you. Now, you really need to be doing SEO keyworded blog posts that have a whole lot more sophistication in order to have that all work for you, which of course, if everything that I just said to you bamboozled you, then it's time to hire an expert. One of my big themes of 2021 is hire an expert. So outsource what we don't know, because sometimes this old dog learn a new trick is going to take longer than it's worth. And there's somebody out there that this comes totally natural to, and it's their zone of genius, their superpower, and we should let those do what they do best, and we should keep all that amazing design work on our plate, right? I love that. Okay, so if I could go back to my early blogging days and change something, what would I change? I would just be less of a dork. I mean, in general, I just think be more chic, be more amazing. Don't we always want to be less of a dork? Anyway, or maybe more of a dork, my own version of myself. Actually, that's what it is, right? I think the early days, it was a lot of writing the content that I thought my client wanted to hear instead of showing up and being myself. Crazy important to show up and be myself, which is why Design Sips was created. I kept saying, one of these days we'll go live. One of these days I'll hit that live button. Man, it's still nerve-wracking to do it. But when my team said to me, you know what Sandra likes to do? She likes to drink a glass of wine and shoot the shit about how business is going. And so Design Sips was born. Here we are. Okay, another question. How do I get strategic with my time? Content takes hours, and it can, and it does. It's a full-time job for most, like, whole firms of people out there writing social media content, writing great content, the whole thing. The best advice that I can give you is to batch your content, to maybe take a minute and be quiet on social media for a month, 6 weeks, whatever it takes, and sit down, figure out those monthly themes. Go and find that content that you've already written. Do that strategic mapping, do that overall plan, and batch, create maybe the next, maybe create a month's worth of content a month and a half out so that you can start to get ahead of it. If you can get all of your March content written in February and have it reviewed and teed up and ready to roll, you are going to start to feel calm. You're also going to start to feel like in the moment, you can go live when you're somewhere amazing and you want to like show what's happening. You're at like an incredible showroom and you want to walk your audience through, right? You can come across some amazing content and just go ahead and share it in the moment, right? So you can still have those in the moment experiences with your audience if you know that your consistent and branded content is locked down and is supporting you in the background. It feels so good. And it allows you to be a little bit less spazzy about your content and like not reaching, right? Because you already have good, consistent content locked down. And now you can just be playful and you can be in the moment with things that kind of cross your path. All right. Cheers. Cheers to that. Okay. All right. Another question has come in. I'm constantly comparing my content to others and feel discouraged. How do you keep yourself from falling into comparison traps? Oof, this one is hard. I am well known in my team for like deleting all the social media from my phone and having like a cleanse of social media where I'm just like, comparison McCompary is like out and she's ugly and she is sad and not good enough and all the things. Like, it is a natural emotion and it's a natural thing on social media, which is why we watch our kids so carefully with it, right? To see someone else doing it better, chicer, sleeker, prettier, blah, blah, most amazing. I would have never thought to do that, etc. Design wise, yada, 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 right? I will see myself doing it and I will step away. I also think that we are each our own, we're our island, like we're our own version of ourselves. We are someone's ideal designer out there. They want someone who's approachable. They want someone who's fabulous. They want whatever it is that you are, what makes you you. There's somebody out there who wants exactly that. And that you are the designer that was made for them. So you need to have so much care and confidence in knowing that if you show up your true authentic self, your true and authentic perfect clients will also show up and find you. So that's the best way, is to just know that it's not a race, that I'm going to go out there and find my people. Okay. So we have another question, which means we're going to take a small sip of wine. Hi, what's up? Cheers to you. I see the wine. Okay. Question number 87. I don't know how many we're on now, but something. Okay. I'm a perfectionist. How do I let go and just hit publish? Okay. I know this is going to sound totally nuts and counterintuitive, but sometimes going live and just being in it is actually the most freeing way to handle it. So I am the biggest pain in the ass when it comes to taking a still photo with me in it. I almost never approve them to go out, or taking a video that I then have to watch or choose to watch back, which is a terrible idea, but then watch back, and I'm so crazy critical, and that I hardly ever hit publish on those as well. So now I eventually do, because I eventually say to my team, like, don't even show me, just edit out the weirdness or the, the things that just didn't work, and hit go and don't show it to me because it'll never leave the studio. So sometimes it's about, I love going live because like I'll trip over my words and I'll laugh and I'll have a cocktail and you guys will give me some like waves or some hearts to encourage me because you know that this is real. This is live. There's no, there's questions, but there's no script. We didn't rehearse this. I'm just bringing you, and my phone just did some crazy alarm. I'm not sure why, but this is live, right? Now, if this was a video and my alarm just went off on my phone, God knows, I would have stopped, lost my train of thought, started over again, like scrapped that video, right? So some of these things, I think it does make sense to just go and, see what happens. All right, so dun, dun, dun. What do you guys think? Can you go live? Can you do it? It's worth a try. All right, so next question is, who creates all of our content? So content is a group activity at the House of Funk. We do keep it all in-house right now. Our mantra for 2021 is hire experts. So there are thoughts, there are things going on. We are thinking about outsourcing some of the legwork around our content. Haven't yet. So far, it's all in-house. So I basically creative direct our content. So I will like pull the right photo for, I kind of create, like I say, I'll share something live to my story, but I also will, maybe I'll share something live to my story, but maybe I'll end up on that website and then I'll curate a few more pieces from that brand that I've just stumbled upon so that I see them again as well. That kind of stuff I will save. I save it onto a Wacora board. I love sourcing images on Wacora. So just like I will source product for a client on Wacora, I source images for social in Wacora. So I'll save things there. I have a board set up to save, PR curate stuff. And then the team will draft copy for each of those images and slot it according to our themes. And then I go through and I just top edit. So I just read everything through one more time before it goes out. I make any little extra, edits to it. And when I say edits, I'm adding a little story. I'm adding an anecdote. Maybe I'm Sandraizing the copy a little bit and it sounds a little bit more like me, although my team is amazing at nailing my voice, right? Because they've got all this content to look at. So it took a while for us to get to the place where I kind of curate, they write the copy, I top edit. Like this took time to get this level of flow in place. And we have a whole process for this in our Asana templates. So of course, all of that is always in the standard, but we can get all of this as well. Okay, so cheers. Cheers to templating the plan and having a plan for social. Okay, so writing copy, another question, sorry. Writing copy is so not my thing. How do I go about writing newsletters and social media content? So if writing copy is not your thing, one of the things I love to do is leave voice memos. So be it the literal voice recorder on your phone or what's the walkie-talkie app? There's apps for leaving voice messages for each other. But basically, you can go on those monthly themes, right? Pick one of your topics and you can just talk it out. Record yourself. Send it to a teammate, right? Or use a transcription service app, whatever. And you can then take your natural voice and turn that into copy. If someone is not a writer, well, certainly you might not be a writer, but you talk to people. You talk to your clients, you talk to your friends, you talk to your vendors. You have knowledge in that designer head of yours that your clients don't have. So talk about the things you know best. Always, always, always start there. And I would literally talk it out and record it and then have it transcribed. And then that starts to become your copy, your topic, the thing that you're working towards. All right, all right. All right, we have another question, but I also have wine to drink. Okay, so question. How do I take my content to the next level? So I love this. So we used to just post whatever, whenever. I mean, it was just posting to post, right? Getting out there to get out there. Now we try to really curate those images that speak to our ideal client. So if you heard me talking about it last week or 2 weeks ago or something like that, we were talking about ideal clients, like really defining who that is and then speaking directly to that person. So not only am I showing up as my true authentic self, which is the only way that I want to live in my business, right? I just want to be able to be myself. I am also speaking my Sandra to my ideal client every single time. So I'm being myself and I'm not editing or censoring, but I am positioning, right? I am taking my my curated beautiful finds and I am positioning them for my ideal client. So I am saying this concrete tile is amazing for an outdoor shower because I want to work for clients that have outdoor showers and their beautiful backyard oasis, right? I could have said this is a great tile and to make a great backsplash. But I'm thinking bigger than that. I want to go for that amazing, incredible outdoor shower experience kind of client. So do you see that positioning? I could have just said that's a pretty tile. But I'm trying to catch the attention of a client who would put in a badass outdoor shower. Okay, I think you got it. I said it 800 times. Are we ready? Okay, creating, how are we taking content to the next level? We have more thoughts on this. Sorry, Miss Sarah Harris is giving me an update. I love it. Okay, drink. Creating strategic blog posts that are targeted is another way to level up. So I talk about this all the time. A lot of people don't like blogging. They went into interior design, not writing, and it feels like a ton of work. But here's what I'm going to tell you. If you can get strategic with that content and you can get SEO keyworded, the idea is with a blog post to answer a question that your ideal client is typing into the Google. So what that means is, so for instance, we have a great example. We're just, we're going through the same thing all y'all are going through. All y'all, I just did the y'all. We were looking at our area and seeing that there was a ton of New Yorkers moving into the New Jersey suburbs where most of our work is located. And so we saw that there was a big trend going on, right? Where should these New Yorkers move if they're leaving the city? So we wrote a blog post all about the best towns to live in New Jersey, that are commutable to New York City. And it takes a little time after you SEO keyword and write that post and get the idea and put it out in the world. That post is now driving a ton of traffic to our website. And we know that traffic is coming from newly moved people, right? Which is amazing. So we are literally speaking to someone who's just moved into a home, who left New York City, moved to New Jersey, just moved into a home, and most likely needs our assistance to make that house a home. So if you can start to look at trends and look at things that are happening in your area, what could you write a blog post about that would literally capture the attention of your ideal client at this time? Or maybe it's evergreen. Maybe it's always content. It's always relevant. Okay, so email marketing is another way to amp up your marketing, but again, just do one a month. So we do an email newsletter, and a lot of times that email newsletter will summarize or thread together or tell an interesting story, and always a give. We're always trying to give helpful hints and tips and tricks and content to our audience. But a lot of times it's the highlight reel of all of our content that's going out on social, okay? The idea being, let's land in their inbox and tell them, and share with them all the best of it and really give them the most amazing tips and tricks that we can. I fear that's going to keep happening. Hey, what's up? Okay, so give in your newsletter, and it can tend to be the highlight reel, the very best of, right? Okay. There's quite a few free strategies we use on Instagram, which we're talking about all next week. Ooh, next week. All right, so the next design tips right here next Wednesday, we'll be talking about Reels, Stories, IGTV, all the stuff that feels like bells and whistles that we can absolutely go through and are really helpful. Instagram rewards those who play with the new technology. So we want to be a part of that. We want to be seen, right? We're not putting all this content out for it to just toil away unseen. So when we participate with them in the ways that they want us to participate, the algorithm likes us and lets us be out there more. Okay. Thrive Design Studio, hi Simone, asks, do you outsource your newsletters? And currently, no, I don't. What I think we talked about it a little bit earlier is we have tons of content that we've written over the years. We pull from that. We pull from the best of that. We have themes monthly. And then my team kind of does that fresh draft for this next month coming up. And I go through and I top edit it. I add anecdotes. I add stories. I actually love to write. So that part doesn't bother me. And then we always freshen that newsletter up with a fresh video or fresh photography, inspiration images, whatever it is that's relevant. People love to click on a video in an email, and they love images that are clickable and are taking them somewhere interesting. We always are really excited if we can do a content upgrade, which means that they go from the newsletter to a checklist or a deeper resource, or maybe something that they could purchase if they want a room to look like this. Just something interactive to offer something more to our audience that keeps them excited to open that email when it shows up in their inbox. Now, the ultimate goal of social, I'm just going to take it an aside. The ultimate goal of social media is to get people onto your website. The goal of your website is to get people onto your email list. The goal of your email list is to nurture and build a relationship to get people to hire you. Okay, so that's the goal. Social to website to email to hire. So don't get confused. Do not stick people on don't turn them right around when you get them on your website and send them out to social, because the goal is social, website, newsletter, hire. So you want to kind of have your social buttons and your links a little bit further away from a first click. I have them on the bottom of the website or on the contact us page, or because I want someone to interact with me on social, but that's not the ultimate goal. The ultimate goal is to get them into our world. And our world is once we're in their email inbox, that's when we're truly in their world. Okay, so Suzanne asks, do you recommend tailoring content to different audiences and therefore to speak to specific social media platforms? Okay, that is like tier 4, okay? If you're speaking to an avatar that is most likely to be on Instagram and a whole different avatar / audience that's most likely going to be on LinkedIn, absolutely do it. I mean, that is tiers of content, right? So that is definitely a level up. It's a whole different stratosphere. My personal opinion is I like to speak to one ideal client per product. So my full service interior design is different than my online interior design. Those are not the same person, right? So per product, I like to have one avatar. And then I think I'm sending out a very, very consistent message across all platforms, because my website and my newsletter are also going to be in that same vein of speaking to people. So I like to give a little bit more consistency. Now, you can absolutely do that. You can have multiple avatars. You can have different avatars on different platforms. You can have multiple newsletters. I mean, the sky's the limit. It's just a matter of how much time do you have or resources to outsource that work. Celine asks, can we just show our work but not ourselves? Should the designer be part of the brand? Celine, I am so glad you asked this. I'm going to take a sip of wine while I just prepare to go on a soapbox and tell you what I think. Okay. If your name is on the door, you are the brand. Does that make sense? When I go to a page, an Instagram feed that is just pretty pictures or product, I'm I'm less likely to follow that page, and I'm way less likely to interact with that brand. People want to connect with people. Okay. So now listen, if you have a big firm and you are Celine and Associates and you don't want to just be the face of the company, you want the whole team to be a part of it, that's fine. But there's a human in that company that needs to come to the forefront and needs to connect. You even see this at the Johnson & Johnson, Procter Gamble level. Like, for years it was, we're so professional, we're such a business, we're not one family behind the brand. And then you know what happened with the marketing? They needed to reconnect personally with their audience. There was a whole bunch of stuff going on, and they needed the family to come into those commercials again, walking down the street with the pretty trees and the doggy out front, because they needed to be seen as human again, because they had gotten themselves so far from the brand. Don't be a dehuman brand, right? People want to connect with people. Listen, potential clients hire interior designers because they want a person to come into their home, hold their hand, and walk them through how to create a gorgeous home. They need to understand who you are and what you're about. They are going to welcome you into their home and pay you good money to take their hand and help them. Okay? So it is crazy, crazy important for you to get out there and introduce yourself to them all day long. Okay, cheers, people. It hurts to get out there. Don't get me wrong. I wanted to hide today. I did not want to come on here. I'm wearing the messiest of messy buns. My hair was acting crazy. I don't know. It just wasn't all coming together. But you know what? It's time. It's Design Sips. Let's go. Let's go talk biz. Let's have a glass of wine. And you know what? I'm having a blast. I see all of you out there. It makes me happy. All right, we have another question. The tech aspect of it all overwhelms me. How did you get comfortable with all of that? Okay, so now tech is not necessarily comfortable for me either. I don't know if you saw, but I have some random alarm going off on my phone that keeps interrupting my feed. Whatever. This is live. C'est la vie. I'm going to deal with it. Thank you. So one of the best ways to handle the tech overwhelm is to have someone on your team who's better at it than you are take that on as their main role. So for me, Sarah Harris is so much better at tech. She's just comfortable with it. And so for her to do the research and set it up and figure out how to do the stream and how to get it on multiple platforms, I'm like, you know what? I'll show up and I'll make sure my lipstick's straight, but like, can you handle that part? That's okay. And in the early days, we had interns who were film majors or who were graphic designers or who were somehow technically savvy. And they were amazing at catapulting us forward with understanding what's out there, what's possible, what's happening. Now, my 13-year-old could probably teach me a thing or two. So reach out to others. If it's just not your strong suit, it doesn't have to be an employee. It can be a friend who knows what they're doing, definitely a teenage child, and interns are an amazing way to have that happen. Now, interns, an aside, a business owner aside, you either need to give them college credit, documented, or pay them minimum wage at the least, okay? That is the gig with interns. Okay, oh, nope, we already answered that. Tech aspect of it all. That's just gonna keep happening. Say la vie. All right, that's it, people. I'm up. Thank you so much for joining Design Sips today. It was amazing connecting with you and so good to see you. I see all of you rolling by. Thank you, thank you. So I would love to hear from you in the comments, in the DMs. Let me know, was there something today that you didn't know before? Or maybe, I'm gonna sneeze. 5. Nope, because I said it, it's gone. Great. Tell me, what's your takeaway? What are you going to take and run with? What's going to move you forward today? So a lot of this stuff you already knew, right? Deep down, you knew this. You knew you needed to show up. You didn't ask, should I be in my be there? But what about this will move you forward this week? I would love to hear. Okay, and this is a reminder. We go all over in your business inside of the standard. We are going to be talking about best practices, industry standards, amazing content, and we are going to be open again April 21st to April 28th. We are 7 hot days of interior design standard, and it is coming up. So check out more about that, interiordesignstandard.com, and I will see you there. Reach out if you need anything. Reach out with questions. We are always into taking that question and turning it into a Design Tips episode so that we can help our industry all rise together. It's the whole point, right? I'm Sandra Funk. This was Design Tips, and I'll see you next week. Bye, y'all.